Anybody who knows anything about addiction knows what it feels like when you want to stop. What does that mean? You don't like the consequences. You don't like what comes with using, going to jail, losing your family, your kids, homelessness, sickness, but you don't like the way you feel. So you don't want to deal with that. So you want to stop, but you don't want to deal with the feeling. So you want to stop. I remember when I was going to meetings and trying to get sober, that was my situation. What I'm going to tell you is, to get to that, when you want to stop finally, you're going to need a little break. You're going to need to go into lock and key or a rehab, a hospital, jail maybe, something like that. A little break is very beneficial. But also, if you don't want to deal with that, you know what I mean? If you don't want to go through that, you're just going to have to get beaten to a state of submission. Now, that's why a lot of alcoholics and addicts, it takes them a long time to get to the point where they're ready. Like they're just tired of all the shit they did. Don't get me wrong, some people do quit early on in their life, but most of the time it's when you get a little older, been through a lot of shit, and you're finally beaten into a state of submission where you're ready to listen, and you can go to a meeting, get a sponsor, work the steps, or church, or whatever may work for you. Maybe you just get real deep into meditation, some spirituality, having a relationship with your higher power, and you get sober. For me, this last time, because I've been to rehab several times, been to prison 3 times, homelessness, been beaten into a state of submission, okay? But I was an IV user. So I had to go to a hospital, and I didn't stay for like a whole 28-day deal. I just stayed for a week. But what I did was go hard in the paint on recovery. I listened to what people had told me over the years, and I did more and more of it. I got really deep into meditation, and I started to do things that was suggested right away. So every morning I jump right on it. You know what I'm saying? Do what I need to do. Prayer, meditation, spiritual readings, calling people when I get all irritable, restless, discontent. These are things that are necessary. Now, if your body and your mind aren't aligned, you can't heal. All right. So if you're thinking about, your problems, but you're at work, that's not aligned. Your body and mind aren't aligned. And if your heart ain't behind it, you're way out of whack. And so you're going to be unmanageable inside. That unmanageability is why we use or drink, because my life is unmanageable. That's what they're talking about in step 1, that unmanageability. That's what's going on inside. Because stone cold sober, without a solution, I'm going to use eventually. Because I can be sober, not even putting anything in me, but I got no solution to my problem, right? What's the problem? That unmanageability, the way I feel, that anxiety, that depression, all the trauma. And that's why a lot of people deal with that want to stop. They can't find that where they have the drive, or you can only last so long, man. You can only white knuckle it so long. So that's why I say, go under lock and key if you need to. Go to a treatment. Do that. Go through that pain. You got to go through that transition. It's all part of the process. You think you can go through all those years of doing what you did and just quit like it's nothing. You can't just speak it into existence. This is a lifestyle change. It's an action, okay? You can't just speak it and it's done. No, you got to take certain steps. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly what I did. A 30-day workbook I'm creating. I'm almost done. And I'm going to drop it on you guys and give you the opportunity to get it. Because I'm telling you, I've been trying this get sober thing for many, many, many years. Many years. Like I said, the consequences didn't keep me sober. Nothing really kept me sober. No matter how hard I tried. But I eventually was beaten into a state of submission. When I was beaten so bad that I finally was just willing to listen. All right? And God took over. I allowed God to work in my life. And at that point, I don't even give a damn who you think is God or if you believe in God. You get to a point where you damn near believe the tooth fairy would keep you sober. If that's all it takes, you don't give a shit. I know I didn't. I was willing to do whatever it took. But when you get to that state, you need to hold on to it. And when you get into rehab, you're going to find that you could be on fire for that recovery. One point I want to make is when you make these plans, you say, I'm going to go to this meeting. I'm going to go do this with this group. I'm going to call this sponsor. When you get out, you make sure you follow through with that shit. Because if you get out and you don't, that's going to eat you up. All right? It's going to take you back out. That type of shit will take you back out. Because that irritable, restless, and discontent, that shit gets hard and heavy when you do stuff that you don't like. Or when you think that you're less than a person, like you don't follow through with what you say. I know that bothers me. So check it out, man. Follow through with liking, commenting, subscribing, follow, all that good stuff to this channel. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about this. You don't even have to be addicted to drugs. It's any type of addiction. It's a lifestyle change. And I'm going to show you exactly what I did and what I'm doing and how it's beneficial and it's working. All right? Much love and respect, because like I say all the time, we ain't hooked on dope. We hooked on growth.
We ain't hooked on dope. We hooked on growth.